How's it going, everyone? How we doing tonight? How we doing? James Scott here. It is Monday, January 18th. It's Martin Luther King Day, everyone. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I want to get on and do something a little different, you know. Everyone gets the chance to get their thoughts on the topic of do life forms exist outside of our solar system? What's your idea on UFOs? Things of this nature. Well, I wanted to get my thoughts out there about this and talk about some experiences that I had in regards to these things. Reason I'm doing this is the other day I was sitting with someone who's in the MUFON organization, MUFON. There's some kind of person in that, and they were telling me you should put this on video. You know, get your experience out there of what happened, and so you'll have to hold and to look back on down the road. And maybe it can be talked about or used at some point. It's a pretty interesting story. I got a couple extraterrestrial things that have happened in my lifetime I wanted to get on video here. So hopefully you'll allow me the moment to do this, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start from the oldest circumstance that occurred to the most recent. So once when I was about 16 years old, 17 years old, um, living in central Phoenix, right in the middle of the city. So now I'm not out in the middle of the boondocks somewhere and I'm some crazy person who's looking for some attention. Just a normal person here, guys, with some crazy situations that have occurred. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of them. Once when I was about 16 years old, I was laying on the couch watching some daytime TV. I remember it was about 5 or 6 in the evening, late summer probably. And the sun was, just about to go down, but it was just cresting over that horizon, I remember. And the sun setting in the west, me living in central Phoenix looking west, towards where the sun would be setting, right? But it's behind the horizon where you can't really see it, but it's still light outside. I'm laying on the couch watching some TV, and suddenly my mother comes running in the house yelling for me to come outside. Come outside, James, come outside. You got to see this. And I jump up off the couch and I run outside, right? And I see people from all over the neighborhood. I was growing up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood at the time, and my neighbors, all these people standing outside on the street, straight looking into the western sky, far off in the distance. Everyone, just tons of people. I cannot forget this image in my head when I came out the house. I wanted to see what it is these people are looking at. And my mom's like, look. So I look over in the western horizon, and you see these metallic, shiny-ish objects way off in the distance that look like smaller dots, okay? But they have this reflectiveness to them. You can see that they're there. And there's multiples of these things, which if you know the layout of our city, if you're looking far west from where I'm at, that would be out where Luke Air Force Base is, right? So is this something to do with the Air Force, with military vehicles of some sort? Well, I'll tell you right now, hell no. There's no military object that we possess or anybody on this planet possesses that can do the things I saw these objects doing. Okay? This is the only one out of the instances I'm going to give you where there's no doubt in my mind what I was looking at. So I'm starting off with the most important one of these, but I have no video for this one. Okay, this is before everyone ran around with camera phones, and this would have been like in 1998 or something probably. And so it's crazy. It's not nighttime, it's kind of a daytime-ish sky out still. And off in the distance, you can see these tiny dots, multiples of them, zooming in the most weirdest directions, flying around. These instances, when you hear these examples that people give of what they saw, these are the real ones, okay? The ones that you see jet into the weirdest ways that are not humanly possible. You know, you can't get your jaw off the ground when you see this thing in person. Okay, I look around, everybody's looking up at the sky, seeing the same exact thing we are seeing. Those things over time, I mean, it must have been 10 minutes because she saw this and saw everybody looking and came inside to get me, rushed me outside to go see it. And this is what I saw. Now, what comes of that? Nothing. Especially back then, you couldn't go online and see if anybody might have saw the same thing you saw, but this whole neighborhood saw it. And way out there in that distance, these things jetted around in the most craziest ways, slowly kind of sinking. Look, the motion of my finger looks exactly like how it would go. And it's just unexplainable things. From that occurrence alone, I completely believe that there's something that exists that we are unaware of in this world. Okay, from that one situation happening in my life, seeing it with my own two eyes, I have something that would tell me that I have something to go off of. Okay, it's not just me feeling what other people are saying. I've seen it with my own two eyes. So from the jump off from way back then, that was one circumstance I went through. Okay, one situation that I did see with my own two eyes. Okay, so this is the Mutual UFO Network, the MUFON.org people that I was I was sitting down with the other day, just by happenstance. But this is a person that I've met with multiple times. Let's just say, try to keep things discreet. But while meeting with this person who's with MUFON, they said I should get this stuff on record. This is their website. You can see they have all the latest stuff on there. Probably, I'm not somebody who gets too deep into these type of things, but I always am interested in learning about them and other people's experiences if you can find them in places. It's not something I search out for regularly. I'm not some UFO watchdog person, but I do believe in them and do have feeling of something going on in the world because of what I've told you guys with that first time that I've ever witnessed a UFO of any sort. Okay, fast forward 20 something years later, living in this house in my backyard where I like to hang out a lot, right? I sit outside a lot. I see planes crossing by all the time. I've seen helicopters flying by all the time. Hell, I even see drones going by all the time. And I sit out there on a nightly basis all year round. Okay, we live in Phoenix, Arizona. You can just sit out on the patio and just enjoy the weather all year round. And I do that. I make music out there. I read. I watch podcasts. Do all kinds of stuff. That's my thinking place outside. Okay. Hopefully that'll turn into this spot inside. As you can see, we're doing some remodeling here, making it a little bit more cozier in this place here. So making this a little more peaceful place. Maybe I can get my thoughts going in here. But basically, I'm outside on a normal day. And one night, when looking off into the distance, who knows what the hell I was thinking about, I actually got recording of the next time I ever witnessed something. So this says this was February 26th of 2013. Okay, so 7 years ago, almost to the date, this occurrence happened. Okay, occurrence, whatever. Sounds so. I don't mean to sound so weird about this, but I just want to get the couple times that this happened to me. I actually was able to pull out an iPad this time because I was sitting down. And I've deleted a couple of the videos now. It looks like I only have one more left on here because I sound so stupid in these videos because I was a little buzzed, and this happened. And just because I was a little buzzed doesn't mean that you don't know what the hell you're seeing. I remember feeling like I need to wipe my eyes and because it's blurry, and you're probably yawning and your eyes are watery, so it's all blurry. It may look like this ball is a lot bigger in my eyes than it should. So I was like wiping my eyes, making sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. But I'm sitting in the backyard there, and out from behind the trees from way off in the distance, this huge orange, not a circular ball, more like a square looking thing moving through the sky starts coming at me, right? And it's one thing by itself. And it's moving kind of odd. It catches my eye. I just kind of look at it for a second. And then after a few moments, it does a weird maneuver and it makes your heart drop a little bit. And what, what was that? So I was stuck watching this thing and it went all the way across the sky, all the way from as far north to as far south as I could see. And the thing about this one is it didn't have those jetting movements in far distances. And this one's a lot closer than the first story I told you. But it's not moving like a helicopter, which I see every night. It's not moving like an airplane. It's damn sure not an airplane of any sort. Is it a hot air balloon? Well, no hot air balloon moves in the way that this thing was moving as fast as it did from right to left either. So as I see this thing, it catches my eye from moving from right to left. I run inside and I go grab my iPad because it stands out so much. So I run inside, I go grab my iPad and I come out. And this is what I got on video here. And it's the only one I have left. Now you might think, well, that just looks like it's moving like the speed of a helicopter. The way it stops and moves again made me feel like it wasn't a helicopter. Okay? It made these weird little motions that more like a drone might be able to do. But see, there's no blinking light on this thing. Even though this camera, these shitty iPads, man, the cameras on them does this no justice. This here is a street light. This is the tail end of when I saw that thing going. The truth is, this is the first one that went by. You'll see it disappears behind some trees that are here. And the thing that tells me this is not a drone is because something could not go from all the way where this thing started, where I'm getting this way late in its travels. Okay. I saw this thing starting way off to the north. And it traveled all the way across the sky and just kept on going. And the way the ball of the orb looked, it was like an orb. It had this orangish, purplish, reddish tint to it. Maybe like a hot air balloon would look. But no hot air balloon is flying that fast from right to left in the way that this thing did and dipping up and down in its weird little ways that it was doing. So, another weird instance, right? But this one can't really, that's not really proving anything, okay? And it's not like the first time where it jetted across and did these things that nothing in mankind can do. Well, this is something that we have that mankind could do. But it was definitely not a normal thing flying across the sky. Now, as I videotaped that first one going by, little to my knowledge, there's a second one coming here. Look how dark the red is on this one. So I'm saying here, I can't believe it's the second one. There's a second one coming. What the I I sound ridiculous, but this is video of the second one flying by. Let me see if I must have stopped the video in here because I know I stopped recording a couple of these and started back to recording again. See, it's not really flashing like that. Even though that looks like it's flashing, it's not. It's just going behind limbs from a tree and stuff. But see how it's like it stopped here. It's on the same pattern almost as the first one was. But this one, it kind of stopped there, and then it proceeded to travel across the sky just as the first one did. And if I could explain the way that this thing looked to you, it was the most oddest thing you'd ever seen. It was very futuristic looking. My eyes can't even like my mind can't wrap my head around it. So that was where I stopped it and started another recording. And for some reason they're not on YouTube anymore. I guess I assume I deleted the other ones. I guess I feel like I remember deleting them, but they're not there anymore. So that's the only one I have of that one. But as you can imagine, the other ones looked about the same as it. Okay, so that was the first two instances when something weird like that happened. Okay, so third weird thing that happened one time driving down the 101 from North Scottsdale to Awatuki, where I was going to meet my wife for a birthday party she was at. Driving from work, driving down the freeway, way south in the sky, I see what looks like 100 different yellow lights in the sky, and I swear to God, it looked like we were being attacked by white. There were these weird white lights far out in the distance. Okay, these things could have been military flares because all of a sudden from these white lights, there was multiples of them traveling. All these huge traily things started coming out the bottom of them. And I drove all the way down the 101, all the way to Awatuki from North Scottsdale, and could watch these things the whole time. And when that thing started to kind of, this weird thing happened, and these things let loose of all this weird particle stuff, looked like gold dust. Now, how the hell can I be the only person that saw all this? I'm not. This was in more common times, right? More recent times where I was able to go on Facebook, looked up stuff for the next day or two. I saw people started posting pictures and video. I was driving. I didn't get good picture or video of it besides with how far it was and our crappy cameras, still unable to get good video of things happening in the sky, it seems. Wouldn't have worked anyway. But I did see other people talking about it and weird pictures that they saw and that they recorded and took themselves. So I did see a lot of that on that instance. And by the time I got all the way down to Awatuki, I was damn near, I was very close to what I was seeing. There was only like a couple white lights left in the sky from it. And I can't remember what happened from, and that's what's weird, right? You would think, man, if it was that crazy, you would know what happened. But you're driving, and I get all the way into the neighborhoods, get off the freeway, and I'm trying to look up in the sky and follow like a crazy person. But your mind knows when you see something that's not normal that you see all the time in the sky. This could have been military flares, right? There was no weird jetting around. So, hey, it's possible that that was just some sort of military exercise, and all of us got fooled by what looked like a crazy extraterrestrial experience, which it felt like it was. But a lot of other people felt like it too, it looked like. One of the SpaceX ships taking off one time in the sky that got us walking out of work one night. I got video of that and I've posted online. Thought that was a crazy UFO, right? Nope. Came to the conclusion that it wasn't. It was a crazy that you remember that one about 4 years ago was going off from California, and in the western sky there you saw this crazy looking form in the, we knew that was a normal, and it ended up not being normal. It was very different to see that going on in the sky. And Elon Musk put on a show for us all that day, and that was awesome. Okay. So that was an explainable phenomenon in the sky. Do you guys remember? Does anybody remember? Hell, I'm going to look this up. Does anyone remember all that talk about weird horns blaring in the sky? The sound of weird like horns just blaring into the sky. The sound like it's coming from the heavens. Let's look it up real quick. Horn blaring in the sky. You guys remember this situation? Situation. I keep saying that word. You guys remember this thing happening? Yeah, there's lots of articles of people hearing this weird blaring in the sky. I hear these stories of people hearing these sounds of loud trumpets playing in the sky. Some people felt it was the trumpets of angels playing over the heavens. Well, I have to tell you, I once heard that sound about 5-6 years ago. I remember I was standing outside because I used to smoke cigarettes, right? and I would sit outside and I would look in my window from outside and play Madden with my friends online, right? And I had all these friends in San Francisco. We play all the time and play Madden against each other. And I remember I was standing outside looking in the window and I had those big video game headphones on and I'm playing Madden with them and stuff. And all of a sudden, I started hearing this loud horn blaring. And I'm wearing what? I wonder what is that sound? I take my headphones down, and the weirdest, most angelic sound was blaring over the skies. You know the difference between a horn blaring or music playing somewhere. And I actually heard the sound. I'm like, what the? And I tell everybody, wait, shush, shush, and I go run down to more closer to the street to see if this is echoing off of something, possibly to get a different direction. And no, this is coming from the sky. It's something very different. It looks like there's an example of this happening. Let's see if someone's got a good example for us of this happening. Let's see if I can plug my headphones in and hear this with you guys. Could you hear that? Let me hear that with you one time. That's the exact same sound I heard. Crazy, right? I hope you guys could hear that in this recording. Why you gotta talk, man? Shut up.
Ultimately, I cut the power to the entire house, and the sound got louder.
Then he discovered he was not alone.
What is going on?
Strange
That's the sound,
sounds
man.
heard around the world. In Sweden, this sure sounds like a trumpet. In Michigan, another trumpet-like sound. In British Columbia, Canada, Dr. Glenn McPherson says he heard a strange humming.
Let's see if another one pops up that's any good. This is the sound I was hearing, guys. There's no mistaking that. I was standing outside and heard that with headphones on, took them off, like what in the what is going on out here? Come to find out, a lot of other people were hearing this exact same sound. So, is there a cause of it? Well, the first thing I click on, cause of strange trumpet sounds. Let's see if they have any kind of an explanation for us here. What's causing those weird trumpet noises in the sky? See, it's not just me. Have you heard those weird apocalyptic trumpet light noises coming from the sky? People all over the world say they have. The latest video of the mystery comes from Germany and was posted to YouTube last month. In it, the puzzled photographer sticks a camera out the window as a woman asks in German, "What is that?" In the background is heard a ooh, please tell me you got it. Aww. In the background is heard a metallic type groaning sound coming from the sky as if someone just put the key in the ignition of a large, invisible, close encounters of the third kind of vehicle and started it up. That explains the situation. I felt perfectly The video is all the more eerie because a young boy is standing motionless in the street as the noise amplifies. Oh man, I want to see this. The sounds have been reported over the last several years from California to Texas. The phenomenon has been described variably as the blare of a trumpet, a groaning metallic sound, an airplane engine, a loud rumbling, even humming. So, what's really causing the noise? The rumor debunking website Snopes says the scientists point to natural causes such as earthquakes, tidal waves, methane explosions, and even shifting sand dunes as the possible reasons for the aural oddities. Other theories include electrical power lines, electromagnetic radiation, high pressure, gas lines. Man, no, no. One poster had this to say, I think people are so accustomed to hearing these sounds in their backyards. I hear them in mine. They don't realize that this is not normal. It is the hidden machines being used to control the weather and sometimes to cause earthquakes. They are weapons hidden among us. See, I'm not going that far. Some even point out to HARP, aka the U.S. government's High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, a research program that analyzed the ionosphere with the aim to develop enhancement technologies for radio communication and surveillance. Hey, maybe that's it. Weird phenomenon, though. But as you can see, it wasn't just me, but I experienced that. I was one of those people. Okay. Last but not least, New Year's Eve, 2 weeks ago, right? New Year's Eve, 2021. Of course, 2020 couldn't leave without something else happening to me, okay? Wasn't going to be allowed to just go off into the distance. As I'm watching tons of fireworks going on here, sitting in my backyard by myself, right after midnight, because I enjoyed midnight with my son outside, I remember. And as soon as it was, 10 minutes had gone by, I made him go inside. And I and other people on my Facebook, friends, people I asked, did anyone see anything like this? Multiple other people told me on just in my friends alone that they saw this exact same thing. We explained the exact same thing going on, but in different parts of the skies. I live way in the East Valley of Phoenix, way in East Mesa, Gilbert area, right? These people live on the west side of Phoenix, on the other side of town, and they noticed something like this too. People want to say these are Chinese lanterns, maybe. I would know if it's a Chinese lantern. There's not a Chinese lantern that can fly this far from north to south, almost in the exact same direction my first video I showed you guys went in. So then you're like, maybe it's a drone path that someone has a drone. The lights almost look exactly the same, right? Well, it's not the same thing. And it's not a drone. In this video, you'll see there's two of them. Okay, this helps get a little bit of an idea of the movement, of the weird movement as they're moving along with each other. As my eyes were freaking out, and what made me run inside and go get my phone and pull my camera out and record this real quick. Okay, you're gonna hear my voice on this one, I believe. So, oh well. Hopefully, I don't sound like too ridiculous. But I was sitting outside for New Year's Eve, drinking. Of course, they have to get you when you're drinking. I don't care. I wasn't drunk. Okay. Let's see how I sound. Maybe I sound like I'm drunk off my ass. I don't know. But I'll have you know, I wasn't that bad. My son was out there with me. He went inside. I stayed out there. Fireworks going off everywhere. Next thing I know, these two weird ass things moving in this weird pattern, just like I saw 7 years ago. Let's take a look. You'll hear the fireworks going off here. So this is the sound of somebody who doesn't know what they're seeing at the moment, okay? All you know what to say is, what the F am I looking at right now? These things move in and out of each other kind of weird. They're not stationary. It's not one vehicle with two headlights. You can hear the rumble of the fireworks in the background. Look how it took a weird turn at me. Like that was me moving the camera, yes, on accident, but it took a weird. They made a weird motion that's not normal to these things flying. So kind of like drones could possibly do these types of motions. These aren't out of this world like the first story I told you. And I even told myself, are those drones? Let me question myself. Let me look really closely here. Are these drones by chance? I don't know what drones and who could be standing in a place that can see far enough for to control a drone from all the way from the northern sky, as far as I can see north, all the way to the southern sky. Sorry, as far as I can see north. See, I got this camera out kind of late. I saw them way off in the distance, and they traveled all the way from that far right to that far left. And they just went off into the distance where their lights kind of disappeared slowly off into the distance. So this isn't another one of those for sure things where these things jetted around all crazy. Like the first time I saw UFOs, and I know what I saw that time was not of this world. These could have been of this world, but the way this ball was just this weird orange orb, two of them now, moving through the sky, spreading apart from each other in that far of a distance. I don't know what drones can far. Who flies a drone that far? Maybe they're flying it over the whole city, getting video of the fireworks, and someone has some kind of crazy professional drone of some sort.
Congrats to local media.
Okay, that's great. That's not.
Real journalist. A local media journalist who asks Biden about this, and Ron Johnson, who's
So who knows what that one was? Who knows what that one was? Okay. Those two, I should say. But those were just the other day, man. I've been waiting. I'm gonna make this video. I'm gonna tell my story about, what UFO experiences I've had. And all of a sudden, in the middle of waiting on New Year's Eve this year, 2020 has to send me off with a farewell of here's some weird stuff to look at. This one, again, is possible. Maybe someone has some professional drone. They can fly 50 miles over the sky, I guess. Is that possible? Anybody in this chat that's familiar with drones and how they work, let me know if it's possible if a drone could have flown that far, that distance. I know it's possible they could, but that's not somebody in some neighborhood flying a drone that far, okay? And the other thing that I would point at that makes it lean on the side of not being a drone, not being a hot air balloon, not being a Chinese lantern going up in the sky. You know how those things go up, okay? They may vary off to left and right a little bit, and they're generally going up. A hot air balloon, yes, it may take off from here in the middle of the night. I don't know, while fireworks are going off, who's clearing that path for a hot air balloon to do that in the middle of fireworks going off? I don't know what hot air balloon could move that far from north to south in that speed. Too fast for a hot air balloon. A drone could move at this speed if it's a really high-tech drone, kind of moving, dodging. Two of them flying with each other would be really weird. You don't only have one of these drones, you've got two of them together that can fly with each other 50 miles, 100 miles over the sky of what I could see with my viewpoint. So those are my stories, okay, of what extraterrestrial experiences that I have, okay? Judge me the way you like. All I'm just giving a point of what I saw with my own two eyes. If you have any experiences of your own that you could put in there below, please drop a note for me. I hope you enjoyed my little bit of storytelling. I even had a little bit of video to back it up with. Not many people have this, just stories to tell, But this is coming from a normal guy who was just living his normal life, and these weird instances popped into his life all of a sudden. I wanted to share them with you, get this on the record. Medic the Sound God, find me on YouTube. Click the like button for me down below, guys. Give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you if you have. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post something new. You check me out, okay? All right, but for now, I thank you for your time. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everyone. Good night.